Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dominique Wong Weekend Show, where we have grassroots conversations about Malaysian and tonight, including Sarawak current affairs. It is Friday Night Live, and the star of tonight's show is YB Dato Hajah Nancy Shukri. Tonight, we celebrate her milestones as MP for Batang Sadong and Sarawak since 2008. She is currently Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture in Malaysia. We are so excited to meet you. As well, just now you saw a video that was a
Beautiful
Tourism
video.
Malaysia. Yes,
Yeah,
it was called
beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Without further ado, dear Minister Nancy, would you like to share your personal background and journey in politics, as well as some local issues and activities you carry out as MP in Batang Sadong?
Well, thank you very much, Dominic. It's been a long time, and it's really a
Yes.
pleasure for me to be here. And thank you for inviting me. I think it's very timely to also introduce Batang Sadong. Not many people would know where Batang Sadong is and what
Yes.
exactly Batang Sadong means. The Batang means a river, a big river
Okay.
actually. So it's the big
Okay.
river of Sadong. So Batang Sadong is a federal constituency or parliamentary constituency in the division of Samarahan in Sarawak. So it is one of the, we have 222 federal constituencies in Malaysia. So Batang Sadong is one of them, one of the 222. And under Batang Sadong, we have three state constituencies. State constituencies also within the Samarahan division. First, we have Gadong. Gadong means, it's like tabong, for
Yes.
you to keep your money. So Gadong, Simunjan. Simunjan, well, I heard Simunjan is after the name of a bird. And also Sadong Jaya. Sadong Jaya is an old place where, well, one of the early settlements for the government in the state of Sarawak. Well,
So
in terms of
interesting.
population, yeah, very interesting. That's why I think it's a very, thank you very much for this opportunity, because it's good to share with people who have not been to Batang Sadong. Um, well, in terms of population for Batang Sadong, we have about 38,994.
Yes.
It's not so big compared to each parliamentary constituency in Semenanjung. Well, the largest percentage of the population consists of Malays, about 70%, and we have Ibans. Ibans have 24%, Chinese 5%, we have Bugis only 1%, and others is 0.7%. So the population is sparsely populated within an area as big as you combine Kedah, Perlis, Negeri Sembilan, and Melaka. That is Batang Sadong. You imagine.
Wow.
So,
That's so
so
huge.
it is so huge. You have not been, you did not follow me to Batang Sadong, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did not have a chance, and
Uh,
now COVID has happened.
Right, it's okay. There's always time. The next time. Well, anyway, consideration such as economies of scale has to be given a proper perspective, since it will not hold water even for the next 30 to 40 years. This stretch, whatever, yeah, you see that is the Batang Sadong. Then you see my bridge. Well, I can say that that's my bridge. This
Yes.
stretch, whatever limited financial resources available to the maximum, and our priority remain very challenging to this day.
Okay.
Well, the people in Sarawak want to see change in the rural areas,
Yes.
like any other people in other states. They want to see change in the rural areas at a faster pace. So
Yes.
this too has also been what the P200 people, P200 is the Batang Sadong,
Yes.
constituents expect from any ruling government, and it's getting more challenging now. They want
Yes.
clean water. We still talk about clean water, okay? Electricity, and also road access. So today, the latest is the internet connectivity. That has been the latest issue that needs to be addressed as well. So you see, as a leader in this kind of area, we have to accept reality so that we can also help to improve the situation there. So I work closely with my state assemblyman under the three areas. We work very closely together with the community leaders as party, and also party leaders and NGOs. Without them, the three state assemblymen and myself would not be able to perform effectively our task as a strong team of P200 Batang Sadong at the federal level and state level. Well, Dominic, if you feel like stopping me, please do so, because I am getting excited to
Yes,
introduce to people about
yes,
Batang Sadong.
yes, yes. If
So,
anyone is still if anyone is live with us viewing, you can say hello YB in the comment section under the video stream below. We can see it and then it will come appear on screen as well. So we hope to keep an interactive session. I hope everyone's happy and safe at home. We might take a few relevant comments towards the end of tonight's session, so stay tuned. Yes, I also what I know about Batang Sadong is it's also in the Samarahan division, one of 12 divisions
yeah.
of Sarawak. It's a rural constituency, is it?
It is, yes. But now we have the longest river crossing bridge in Sarawak, or even in Malaysia for that matter. Not sea crossing bridge, okay? River crossing bridge. This is still the longest. It's 1.48 kilometers. So I'm proud of that. So with the close cooperation and rapport with the government departments and agencies at both federal and state level, our ability to plan, implement, and monitor the development are also accelerated and more coordinated. So for me, it is very important to have good relationship with people from all walks of life. Well, Dominic and all those who are here, politics in Sarawak is different from in wherever you are in Malaysia. You see, for me personally, we in Sarawak as politicians, we give priority to development. This is called politics of development. So that's why you
Okay.
hear not much of me talking politics unless being asked. Otherwise, we are more in looking into more for development of our people. So that's why not just that we the strong networking with good public relations skills are also important for us,
Mm. Yes.
because as leader we need to address and solve issues at all levels. As I told you, we have to accept the fact that there are certain things that we are still very weak at, or we are still lagging. So we need to address that. And then I have been connecting myself from the grassroots to the top level. Well, I see somebody saying that they remember the trip with me. It was very memorable and an eye-opening experience. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now you see a different Batang Sadong because of the bridge. Oh, Petra. Hi, Petra in England. So,
Thank you for joining
uh,
us, Petra, all the way from
yeah.
England.
So,
Yep.
yeah, back to the water issue. We're still talking about clean water, talking about electricity. Although it has improved a lot, but as I said, people want the best of the best. So we are still working on that. Anyway, there is a blessing in disguise when there was change of government in
Yes.
June 2018 to March
Yes.
2020. Why did I say that? Was because
I'm
all
interested
the
to know.
while our funds came from the federal government. So only after that, then we realized that we need to have, after the 22 months, we need to have our own, we need to proceed with our own projects, because mind you, the projects that we have been approved with our allocation during the BN time, most of them, if not
Yes.
all, unless the projects have started maybe about 50%, otherwise they're all cancelled. Even though the projects was only about 15%,
Oh no.
15,000, 20,000, it's very sad because it is only, just small project for the community. But anyway, that's why I said it's a blessing in disguise. Sarawak has a lot of money, a lot of
Yes.
reserves. But of course, Sarawak did not use the reserve funds because we still have our own funds to help
Yes.
us as MPs. So we MPs
Mm.
from Sarawak were considered lucky. Although we are still far behind in terms of infrastructure due to the geographical factors in Sarawak, and most
Yes.
um, most of the projects that have been cancelled are basic infrastructure for the
Yes.
people in the rural areas. That's why I say it's very sad.
Yes.
Imagine how it is like to be the MP for a rural constituency in Sarawak, with the size of a few states in West Malaysia you combine.
Yes.
However, the challenge does not stop or hinder
Yes.
me to continue to fight for my people. It makes you
Well,
stronger, actually.
yes.
Myself and
Yes.
my other GPS members of parliament voiced out consistently. I think you have known me before, where I was not really shy. I'm not the type who really speak so loud in parliament, but when I became an MP for when we were in the opposition, I have to speak out loud for the sake of Sarawak. So
Yes.
we have to voice out consistently that the federal government of yesteryears did not pay its fullest attention to the state at that time
Yeah.
from 1981 to 2003. And
Oh, okay.
this was admitted. I'm not picking on anybody, but
Okay.
this was
Yes, yes,
admitted by the then Prime Minister himself, Tun Dr.
yes,
Mahathir. Maybe during that
yes,
time things were different.
yes,
So, but I dare to say this because he mentioned it. Well, I turned to our state government in 2019. I met our permanent secretary. That's why I said we have to be close to with the state government officers, with the federal government officers, in order to help our constituency to improve,
yes.
to improve in terms of infrastructure. So we need a fast solution to
Yep,
resolve all these long outstanding issue.
yep.
Another thing is the accessibility and connectivity in P200 Batang Sadong. The Batang Sadong Bridge, I said that is my pride. I got it during my first term, okay, in 2012, and then it was completed in 2016. So this Batang Sadong Bridge connecting Sadong Jaya, Simunjan, and Gedong to Samarahan provide better road connectivity for those living in the coastal of Sarawak. One day you come and please take picture there. People will think that you are in Macau. So there's
Yeah.
so many bridges in Macau. Well, it
Yes,
is one
yes,
of my proudest moments because
yes.
the bridge has become the catalyst for economic development that contributes to the whole socio-economic development in Batang Sadong, as well
Question.
as, yeah,
What is the economic activity? Is it fishing because it's next to a river? What are the economic
that's one of
activities?
them. Fishing, of course. Well, not only river, they do go far to the sea. Of course, estate, oil palm is one of the biggest activities there. It
Yes,
used to be one of the large producers of paddy,
yes,
but ever since there's oil palm, they've shifted to
yes,
oil palm instead of paddy because
yes,
I think oil palm was much easier. It fetches more revenue for them.
yes,
But they are also fishermen, okay?
yes. And
River and sea, all right?
you
So,
mentioned
yeah,
changing state and federal relations under different parties. So this happened in 2018. So Sarawak Barisan Nasional lost a few seats like Mas Gading, Puncak Borneo, Lubuk
yeah,
Antu, Saratok, Julau, and Selangau. So what is the
right.
strategy of the current Sarawak government in attracting these seats in the upcoming or the next elections?
Well,
What has changed?
politics. Okay,
Yeah.
politics. Now, you see, for us, we have a convention that these
Mm.
seats, like Mas Gading was formerly under PDP or SPDP before that. So now I think PDP is working something out for them to go back there. And then we have other seats. It depends on which party that belonged to them before. The only one that PBB lost was Puncak Borneo. So, well, we at the moment the Puncak Borneo is already taken by a Bersatu guy. So
Yes.
that I leave it to the party people, the
Yes.
ground, the grassroots, how they see things. Because I think we need to leave it to them for them to decide and maybe to discuss even with the current MP. Well, this is one of the strategies. But the main thing as the MP or as the wakil rakyat for every constituency, we must make sure that we take care of the people. But this time, I tell you, Dominic, this is very
Yes.
challenging time because we are not allowed to have to organize big events.
Yes.
But
In rural areas, especially.
yeah, rural areas.
Internet connectivity, having virtual connection with your constituents is harder, on
Yes.
internet.
Mm. But I still we still do our programs in terms of distributing food.
Yes,
Actually, even though you see that no, or only now people start talking about the white flag or all those. Actually, we have been having program for a long time. I
yes,
call it Ziarah Kami. It's a welfare program. It is not just giving food. we do go, well, we don't give to every house, okay, because we only go to those who are in need. And some people, they live in this area whereby they just explore a new area which is supposed to be is for them to do their farming and all those. They live in the jungle, and then they clear the that place and then become their own land for them to do their plantation and all those. But they are the only house there. So one house in, it's so far apart. So when I did that, I did before the I mean during the BN time, I brought doctors with me, I brought nurses with me, I brought the district officers with me, I brought the welfare officers with me. So they would help to cover everything that the people need. And unfortunately, when there was change of government,
Yes.
they were not allowed to come with me. So what I did was I went to see the Minister of Health then. I asked him, okay, your staff in my constituency, they want to help me to carry on with that particular activity, but they don't dare to go. And then at first he said, let me ask Tun Mahathir. Hey, I said,
Mm.
this is, this is providing
Simple.
service. Why do you
Yes.
have to ask your prime minister for that? What are you there as a minister for? I dare say that because I've been a minister myself. I say, okay, okay, hold on. No, I want something, I want a letter in writing for you to allow them to come with me. Then
Yes.
only they continued on, because it is very important for us to provide that service regardless
Yes.
of what political affiliation you are with. You must carry on providing service to the people, especially those in the
Now,
rural area. The
now
need
in
is very,
COVID-19.
yeah, whatever, whether it's COVID. Prior to that was not COVID. We
Um,
brought in food. The doctors start checking on them and then give
yes.
them time for them to go for medical appointment. And then the welfare officers start asking, oh, they have not received any welfare. And then
Okay.
the district officer will look, okay, we can do this road, just small road for them. So everybody was there, coming along with us to do service. We don't have to be in a position to do it. We have been doing that since day one, 2008, when I became an MP. I have been doing that, and then for Ziarah Kamit, we started in 2016. Um,
Okay.
but before that, there was no such thing as Zara Kamit. We just do it without any brand. After that, we have a brand for ourselves. Just
How
so
do
that.
you how do you like divide your time in Kuala Lumpur as a federal minister and as an MP in Sarawak? Do you go up and down between Sarawak and KL very often?
I still do, except for these 3 weeks because there were so many cases, and
Yes.
then the numbers of cases have increased. But at the same time, I still have to perform my duty here. I'm not just a minister for Sarawak, so
Yes.
I have to visit
Yes.
vaccination centers and the outreach vaccination sites that we have to visit as well. The reason being is because we have to also help to accelerate the numbers of people being vaccinated, so that we can also help to get Malaysians to reach that herd immunity. That's
Yes.
the intention. But I still go back. But this time 3 weeks I did not go back because I do have work here as well. But very soon, inshallah, God willing, I'll be going back in about less than 2 weeks time. So
Do
I
you
still
usually
go.
spend a few days in KL and a few days in Batang Sadong every week, or is that every 2 weeks or 3 weeks?
Most of the time, because of the bridge, I don't have to spend time there overnight. Last time, yes, I used to take heli because of no bridge. So now, last time to reach from Kuching to go to Simunjan, especially, it took us about 3.5 hours to 4 hours. But
Wow,
now it's less than 2 hours, my dear. Alhamdulillah, thank God. So,
very good.
yeah, as a Sarawak MP and a Sarawak minister, I must also, declare here that I would like to congratulate my chief minister who had been helping us a lot. He knows when we lost during the 2018 election. he helped us, gave us funds for us to continue on with what we have been doing as MP before. So we were not lacking in funds. Of course, it took us a few months for us to stay on and try to settle, to help the people. So,
Yes.
well, with the bridge, more people can have access to their families and do business. So this is something that I'm very proud of. Mm.
Likewise, the bridge has transformed many lives in Batang Sadong, and I'm very proud of the bridge as well. I'm so happy that you can share it with everyone who's watching tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we have seen vaccination rates in rural areas slightly lower than they are in
Yeah.
urban areas. I think that's something you mentioned, YB Nancy. How do you address this issue in Batang Sadong? How do you convince people to vaccinate?
Well, I tell you, in Batang Sadong, when it comes to vaccination, it was just like a festival. Of course,
Oh,
earlier on, there were so many people who were not registered, okay, with My Sejahtera. Some people were so scared, some people were scared, and then some people could not register because of the internet facilities. But I'm satisfied with the constituency's COVID-19 vaccination immunization program, or PIC, that was first held on the 14th June. If you remember, during that time, people say, okay, let the YPs, they let the politicians go for vaccination first. Let them die first. You remember that? So
wow.
when we went for it, we were among the first. So,
Yes.
but after that, but in a way, when we were asked to go first, actually, it's like a motivating a factor for the people. They say, oh, the YPs are already going. So you see people, when is your turn? You can see they were talking in the WhatsApp group, even some young people, when is your turn? So you can see that they were gathering there, even especially when our chief minister said, okay, even though you have not registered under my Sejahtera, but you just go. But it was quite challenging for a rural area because they normally keep the exact number of stocks, uh, but not in the city. So a lot of them, after that, after the announcement by the PM, they all rushed to the vaccination, the PPV. So many people have been vaccinated. Actually, now in my constituency, we have already reached about, for second dose, I think about 60 over percent.
That's
Yeah.
higher than the national average. Second dose, 60%.
And then the national is also, picking up. That's
Okay.
why here we are here to assist under the Ministry of Tourism and
Yes.
Arts and Culture. We are also assisting. We have been asking for more doses from Health Ministry for us to go around the islands. We have started
Yes.
with Langkawi, we have started with Pankor, and we're supposed to go to Tioman. We're supposed to go to other islands now very soon. So that's why I need to divide my time with Sarawak and also over here in West Malaysia and also Sabah. So the
Yes.
turnout was very encouraging from the first time. You see, people were very happy because it's like a fiesta, people gathering there, and then we provide them with some food, drinks.
Yes.
It's very,
Yes.
very. I'm so happy. It's very
Yeah.
encouraging. But you know who is also behind this? Is the civil servants and
Civil
the
servants.
NGOs and also the community leaders. I would like to thank them. They are the
Yes.
ones who have been doing a great job
Yes.
checking on the kampong people. So this is how we got more people, increase in the numbers of those going for vaccination.
Yes, yes, I saw on vaccine COVID as well. I think Sarawak is above the national average. First or second
Yeah.
dose, first dose maybe 60% as a whole state, and the largest state as well. I was thinking everyone had to take boats, go down to rivers, go to rural health clinics, and address long houses one by one. It would be a logistical challenge. Because Sarawak is the
Yes, it's
biggest state, so
true.
it's a
You're
success.
so imaginative.
Yeah, I guess I watched a lot of
But what you
movies.
said is true,
Yes,
because we know we are aware. Our chief minister is aware that the one thing the shipment of one thing is about the logistics. Okay, so what we did was, for long houses, they just went to the long houses and then do they go from long houses to another, but at the same time they also go from house to house. All these frontliners, the doctors, the nurses, the other frontliners, the uniform bodies helping out.
Yes.
They went from house to house because they understand the the uh, the challenge that people are facing. So instead of people going out, they go to the house. So this is what happened in Sarawak. But in my constituency, we didn't have to do that because we have helped out with all the facilities needed. And then we have the Batang Sadong Bridge. We have the roads now. Access roads are all getting. We have increased in number of access roads, so we don't have
Yes.
much of those problems actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the
But I'm
bridge
glad
has
you
helped
also,
vaccine distribution.
I'm glad you are very imaginative now. You're thinking of the both.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned
Yeah,
so much about Sarawak for tonight.
yeah, but the bridge really help a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question for tonight, I think the Chief Minister, as you mentioned, also announced the post-COVID-19 development strategy for Sarawak. This is to double the Sarawak's economy to achieve developed state in 2030. So what are the current initiatives undertaken by the federal or state government to narrow that development gap between Sarawak and West Malaysia? Yes.
Well, for those in the uh, for the program, the strategy for our both federal and state government. But for the state government, first we must make sure that we must achieve a very high number in terms of vaccination first, because you
Okay.
must remember we are also heading towards election. So one of the main challenges is that we always seem to be in a race between Sarawak and West Malaysia, and subsequently within Sarawak and West Malaysia, and within Sarawak itself. So there is really a huge gap in regional development, and the size of even just P200 Batang Sadong itself. It doesn't make matters any easier, as its size is equivalent to the four states as I mentioned to you. So that is
Wow.
why for my constituency, for Batang Sadong, we are guided by 6 pillars of development, and we try to accelerate and balance the development process. Uh, Before I mention what it was, but you see, our chief minister, he goes from one constituency to another just to feel it for himself. What are the things that we need? So he went by bike, big bike, and then he could feel the road. We laugh at him because he said, "Wow, your road is bumpy. This is pit soil." So therefore, physical and infrastructure development is very much needed.
Yes.
That's one. Number two is human resource, and number three is social economy. And number four, we do our programs with women, youth, and sports. Recreational is fifth, and volunteerism, and finally, of course, spiritual development. So there has to be balance here to ensure all aspects are taken into consideration and not meant as given equal allocation, because basic infrastructure development and human resource development are key to getting out
Yes.
of poverty and a key
Yes.
agent of change. At the same
Yes.
time, I've always told my children education is very important. So the chunk of the allocation will be prioritized for the physical development, like roads, so that people can go and move around, mobilize,
Yes.
and of course logistics as well.
Yes.
Electricity is another challenge,
Yes.
even though it's already about 90 over percent people have electricity, but to us
Yes.
we want 100%.
Yes.
Then water, we have water, but there are certain areas they have not had this clean water yet,
Yes.
because now it is still under construction. As I told you, after 2018 we have to start building our own water, the high level water tank. The state government came up with its own funds, and then
Mm.
drainage systems, farm roads. We even build roads to go for people to go to the farm, to go to the schools, of course, clinics, etc. So a
Mm.
healthy, vibrant rural community is essential to the
Yes.
success of our country. So
Yes.
yet in most rural areas in Malaysia, parents watch their children now and their grandchildren leave the rural communities because there is just not enough opportunity for them at
Yes.
home. So we
Yes.
want to avoid this. That's why
Yeah.
we also to develop our rural area. So this
Mm.
stresses the importance of pursuing a rural economic development strategy that
Yep.
partners with rural communities to invest in their unique assets, with the
Mm.
goal of giving young people more options to live, work, and raise the next generation, making sure the wealth created in rural areas stays in rural areas. This is what our duty is. We have to take into account the wide development gap between Sarawak as well as intra-region within Sarawak and the rural area and the urban divide. So our chief minister initiated regional development corridor.
Yes,
Now in
SCORE as well.
that's core. But for
We need,
Samarahan, I have, well, we have, I say I, because I'm in charge of tourism there. Integrated Regional Samarahan Development Agency is called IRSDA. But actually,
okay.
all these are formed to
Yes,
to accelerate whatever that
yes.
we feel that we are slow at. So this
Mm.
include Batang Sadong, where we are given huge allocation to accelerate the development process apart from the normal government departments and agencies annual and Malaysia plan. You know, normally
Yeah.
when you want to develop something, you have to wait for the rancangan Malaysia ke berapa, coming up with
Yes,
rancangan Malaysia
yes,
ke 12. But by having this, we can accelerate by not having to wait for that RMK. We will be allocated with funds. So I strongly believe, Dominic, that such vehicle will not only
yes,
able to transform Samarahan, especially Batang Sadong physically, but
yes.
also in terms of capacity building and human resources.
Yep.
So this platform, IRSDA, remember IRSDA, Integrated Regional Samarahan Development Authority, will
Yes, I
enable the
will.
political leaders. This is one political one platform for us to enable political leaders, the government departments and agencies, the NGOs, and the people to explore new ways of doing things, i.e., not business as usual in the implementation
Yep.
of the action plans.
I
So
have
that's
one
why I told
question,
you
yeah.
once you give me the chance to speak. Yeah, okay.
Yep, yep. This one is regarding development of Sarawak as a whole. I'm a big fan of the Sarawak government because it's a model of unity, racial and religious diversity. So, however, I think some of this development that you mentioned has come at a small or maybe large environmental or social cost. Because, like in the news over the past 20, 30 years, there has been large hydroelectric dams or like native customary land being developed for commercial plantations. So, do you
Yeah.
think that Sarawak government has done enough to address these social and environmental concerns?
Well, actually, we of course that part is taken care of as well. But before that, I would like to also share with you how the Sarawak government helped to ensure in terms you're talking about in the native customary land.
Yes, and
You
the
see, the
hydroelectric
state
dams like
government,
Bakun. Yeah.
yeah, the state government amended the land code, the state land code, in order for the especially the natives, for those who, just giving you example. That's why we had this land code. They have section 8, section 6, section 18. What happened
Okay.
was, when you live in one community, for example, one kampung, Sungai Asap, for example. Now, I'm just naming the place, okay, but there is one kampung called Sungai Asap. The community there will be given about 10,000,
Mm.
10,000, if I'm not mistaken, 10,000 hectares, okay? And this will be shared by the community in in that particular area. But before that, because people have been saying this is not my land, this is the government keep claiming this land. No, actually the government is giving the land to you, but you have to sort it
Mm.
out.
Yes.
So they give it to this kampung under section 6 or whatever section. I hope I'm right.
Yeah.
And then from that particular section, the whole kampung, where they are mostly families related to each other, they will divide it among themselves, and that will be they will be given under section 18, if I'm mistaken, as individual land. Now, for for environment, that's why whatever that we are doing, the local community must understand it. They must be given the information. Sometimes you talk about dams, they need the dams, and
Yes.
because it is also for them. You need the dams to have water, electricity. So, but it has to be shared with the kampung people. Let them give their views. If they're not
Yes.
happy with that, because I think there are some cases whereby they have cancelled the projects because the
Yes.
kampung
Yes.
people, yeah, the kampung people are not happy, and they feel that if you want to build it, go elsewhere. But where else can you go? wherever you go, there will surely be people who are against it. But as long as some people understand, when they understand the situation, then it's up to them to agree or disagree. So we
Okay.
never stop them. We never stop them from taking action against the government. Leave it to the court. But whatever it is, Dominic, whatever that if you and the government, you have to think ahead holistically for the people, because whatever the people need, you need to do something for them to develop. But if they feel that building dams is not good for them, then just just cancel it and get
Yes.
something else.
Yep,
So this
yep.
is
I agree as well. Thank you so much for sharing that
yeah,
answer.
yeah. Thank you.
We're gonna move slightly faster now. You were co-chair of the National Steering Committee on Devolution of Powers under Najib Razak administration, co-chair
Yeah,
with uh, Dato Sri Aminifah Aman. Then, when the
yeah,
change of government happened, there was a new committee to review the Malaysia Agreement 1963. Under the current government, we have a minister in the Prime Minister's department. I think it's Dato Sri Maximus Ongkili, who's in charge of
yeah.
Sabah and Sarawak affairs. So
Yes,
between these
yes.
5, 6, 7 years, what is the status of devolution of powers today, briefly, before we move to tourism?
Okay, anyway, I'm no more there, but anyway, we are still interested in it, okay?
Yes, great.
Because sometimes informally we are also brought in to participate, okay? So the Prime Minister has given his commitment to evaluate fairly all claims made by Sarawak, especially those involving the Malaysia Agreement 1963. So he also gave assurance that Sarawak's rights would continue to be protected based on the federal constitution. So Perikatan Nasional, according to Yang Amat Berhormat PM, has shown its commitment through the establishment of the portfolio on Sabah and Sarawak. But having said that, I think if you followed before this, I think the months ago,
Yes.
Sarawak had been benefiting from whatever discussion that we have made under the MA 63. So whatever Sarawak and Sabah's affairs, they have this special council on MA 63. They continue on like what they did before, though it's
Okay.
not led by the Prime Minister. At the moment, the MA 63 Special Council is studying various matters related to Sarawak's rights within certain progress having been achieved. I think we have
Okay.
been, yeah,
These
because
2 years out. What are the
yeah,
powers achieved these 2 years, for example?
uh, well, uh, uh, well, we have requested. Okay, the PM has acknowledged the request
Okay.
by Sarawak under Article 160 of the Federal Constitution to be amended to define federation in reference to the Malaysia Agreement. But having said that, actually Sarawak has benefited a lot more because actually it was just a continuation of what had been done during the late Totnan's time. We had some requests during my devolution of power time that we continued on. So as
Okay.
of November 2020, 5
Yes.
out of 13 MA 63 issues submitted by the state government had been resolved, while 4 issues were still at the negotiation stage and another 4 were being discussed in joint committees. The issues which had been agreed upon were the review of special grants to Sarawak under Article 112 capital D. I have been very popularly mentioned when talking about 112D of the Federal Constitution. The power to oversee the distribution of gas. This is one thing that
Yes.
we were lucky in Sarawak. We have
Yes.
our own ordinance. Devolution of power to legislate on labour conditions peculiar to Sarawak. Delegation of power on environmental matters and the return of federal-owned state land. So these are what we have been achieving. But
Yes. Yes.
some
Mining
of
rights and Petros.
yeah, some of them are still under discussion, negotiation. But the main thing is we have been receiving, we have been benefiting from especially our oil and gas, our oil and mining ordinance. So we were so lucky.
Okay.
We have it much earlier than the PDA. PDA was there, but ours was much earlier. So we could fight using that ordinance for the Sarakians. Actually, there were some others as well, the little things, but still, but at least we have done so much for Sarawak, and
Yes.
we're not stopping.
I
Okay.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. I'm so excited for the development in Sarawak. I think when Sarawak benefits and develops, Malaysia develops and benefits as
Yeah.
well.
You're
So
right.
on
Thank you. Yeah.
yes, on that note, we'll move on to the second part of today's segment, which is regarding tourism. So let us start with a video of some islands in Sabah.
Sabah is a beautiful. Yeah.
Sabah, the land below the wind, or more accurately, the land with beautiful islands. During the ministry's working visit, the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dato Sri Hajah Nancy Shukri, visited Pulau Sapi, Pulau Manukan, and Pulau Gaya with the aim to develop and grow the ecotourism destinations in Malaysia. Before the pandemic, Sabah alone was receiving 4.2 million visitors, reaching an annual revenue of over 9 billion ringgit. Sabah, being a tourism hub, was badly hit as borders began to close. Nevertheless, as human traffic in the state decreased, nature has been slowly reclaiming its spaces in the Bornean Islands as turtles in Pulau Manukan return to shore to lay their eggs. Conservation of the marine environment is held at Marine Ecology Research Centre, Pulau Gaya. The team at the research centre works diligently in reef restoration and propagation of clams and corals. This is in line with the country's national tourism policy to become a sustainable ecotourism destination.
My name is Carl Sims. I'm the resort manager here in Guyana Marine Resort. We welcome you to visit us. We work very hard in the first.
Yes. So YB, with that
Yeah.
video, I would like to ask you a very important question. What is your favorite food and tourist destination in Malaysia? And where would you recommend West Malaysians to visit East Malaysia? So there are two parts.
Well, if you go to Sarawak, you must not miss out our Sarawak Cultural Village, our Bako National Park. You must go to Mulu Resort. That's a heritage site. And also coming is Nia Cave. It's going to be under ASEAN UNESCO also heritage. Well, in terms of food, nobody should miss the Sarawak laksa and kolomi. Of course, there are other food as well. But even as a Sarawakian, I tend to miss it myself. And then I do have my other likings as well in terms of our apa nama they call it the rojak sotong. Okay, my if there's another one is ABC in Sarawak in Kuching particularly.
Oh, okay. Special
Because
Kuching
children tend to-
ABC.
special Kuching, especially namely Lok An,
Lok An.
Kuching people now Lok An and also Suikang. These
All right,
two
I'm taking
places.
notes.
So you must take note. I have somebody who lived in Penang. Whenever I have my open house, Hari Raya open house, he would make sure that he would come for a day trip for my Raya open house, just to try all this food.
Yes.
So at first he came without the baju Melayu, and suddenly he felt awkward. So every year when he came after that, before the COVID, okay, every year he would come from Penang to Kuching, day trip with his baju Melayu now. So he enjoyed the food, all those authentic
Yes.
food. Uh,
Yes.
so yeah, I enjoyed them. But you
Yeah.
were asking me about the place to visit. That one was Sarawak.
Yes.
But for other areas in Malaysia, we have the Langkawi. I've just recently been to Sabah. There was a few months back.
In the video as well.
Yeah. So there are quite a number of islands. But I mean, I just want to share as well. Never miss Denham Valley. Denham Valley
Oh,
is not an island, but
okay.
it is internationally recognized. We have Prince Charles going there, Prince Henry, and then all those. The king of I can't remember king from where, but it
Is that Sabah, Tenom Valley?
It is Sabah, Denham Valley.
Oh, okay.
It's quite challenging to reach there,
Phenomenal.
but once you reach there, it's a beautiful place. So
Yes.
Denham Valley must not be missed out. I've been there once only, but not as a minister at that time because I happened to have a family in Sabah. So we went there. It's quite a journey, but never miss it. Of course, islands in Sabah is beautiful. You have Manukan, Motek, Sapi, well, many
Yes.
more, many more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing some of your favorite food. I think you are a very good host. You always feed all your guests at your open houses with very delicious food. I think
I
YB
know
is
you
very
enjoyed it. You enjoyed it so much. I know. I
I love.
remember your first day interning with me. You won. We won it because of wearing your baju Melayu, and you were marketing the food that we were having. We have laksa and kolomi.
Yes,
I
yes, yes.
remember that.
Yes, definitely. In part of it, definitely is the food. Besides all of the
Yes.
interns, the food was very, very good. So that
Right.
was the reason why. Yeah, it's my first time. It was my first time when I was interning. I was eating komi and Sarawak laksa. So it was such meaningful experience because it was
It's
also that
true.
time near to Hari Raya and eat. So the perfect
Yeah.
time, accidentally. So
Yeah. That's
if anyone who's on the stream with us tonight have any questions about Batang Sadong or Sarawak about tourism, please leave them in the comment section. We'll address them towards the end of tonight's show. And for our next question for tonight, so Visit Malaysia year was expected to deliver 30 million like tourists as
yeah.
well as 100 billion ringgit in revenue. However, COVID-19 came and then that amount was very low. So tourist arrivals, however, in the medium and longer term has not increased very much since 2010. Is Malaysia facing some stiff regional competition for tourists?
Well, thank you for that question. Malaysia has previously hosted 5 Visit Malaysia years since
Yes,
1990. So
yes.
Visit Malaysia year is a campaign held from time to time to highlight the best of what Malaysia has to offer as a leading tourist destination in Asia. In 2014, Malaysia was shaken by the news of the MH370 tragedy, followed
Okay.
by the devastating MH17 tragedy only a few months after. While these have impacted the Malaysian tourism industry, the consistent promotion of Visit Malaysia Year 2014 has proved to be the key to Malaysia's tourism success during this period. Despite the challenges, Malaysia successfully recorded its highest figure of tourist arrivals in 2014. We welcomed a total of 37.4 million people or tourists, which was a growth of 6.7% as compared to 2013, with a total of 25.7 million in tourist arrivals. Well, we received approximately 26.1 million tourist arrivals in 2019, while that's the beginning of another peak of it. And we aim
Okay.
to increase these figures with our Visit Malaysia 2020 campaign. However, well, this challenging time, the COVID-19 outbreak, which
Yes.
resulted in travel restrictions worldwide, has put a halt to this much anticipated campaign. And well, I just came in as minister. Well, what
What
a
a time.
challenging time, what a time. But anyway, it's a very good time to challenge yourself. The subsequent global and domestic travel restrictions further affected our tourism sector and had forced us to cancel Visit Malaysia year. That includes our budget. But
Yes.
anyway, uh, uh, in terms of tourism performance, we have witnessed a significant increase in tourist arrivals from 2010 to 19. Our multi-pronged strategy was focused on industry collaborations, media engagement, digital marketing, and airline connectivity. Unfortunately, as we reach 2020, sounds so sad, countries throughout the world had to bear a massive drop in inbound arrivals and departures, especially
Yes.
during the second quarter of the year due to the
Yes.
COVID-19 pandemic and travel restrictions. So the
Mm.
ongoing crisis has impacted global tourism greatly. I pray every day, just to make
Yes.
sure, things will improve. But we
Yes.
must continue to push forward now, even more so, to raise public confidence in traveling and to re strategize for
Mm.
a post pandemic new normal in this industry.
Yes.
Discussions are ongoing as
Okay.
we speak to determine the best course of action, and steps are taken by the government, authorities, industry partners, and related bodies. We have an ongoing discussion. So we consider ASEAN as a single destination, and therefore we are moving together in promotion and marketing as we complement each other as a region. So developing ASEAN tourism products has been in the pipeline since 2016, and
Okay.
this will continue, especially when we reopen our international borders. Everybody is
Yes.
asking when are we going to open the international borders, but it's not yet
Yes.
finished yet. So in the honor of the Declaration of Zone of Peace, Freedom and Neutrality or ZOP signed
Okay.
by ASEAN member states, namely Malaysia, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand and Indonesia, to broaden the areas of cooperation, Malaysia, together with other ASEAN countries with a total population of 1.5 billion,
Mm.
will continue to complement each other in regards to matters such as economic prosperity, culture and heritage, as well as international arrivals. So,
Okay.
yeah.
There's so many initiatives right there. Just for everyone who is listening, the tourism sector provides maybe 15% of our GDP, as well as 100 billion ringgit of revenue, tourism revenue, and up to maybe 240 billion in terms of gross related value to there are multiplier effects from the tourism industry. So it's a very important forex exchange and industry in Malaysia. And on
Yeah.
that note, the Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents, MATA, the President Dato Tan Kok Liang, in February 26, I presented 37-point recommendation to the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture about how to revive COVID-19 post-pandemic tourism industry. So to assist these affected tourism sector, what has MOTAC have implemented to carry us through these 2 years and out of COVID-19?
Well, you see, we have to relook into what we are facing now. Like
Okay.
this, in terms of tourism sector, this measure is important to improve the capacity and credibility of the profession by adapting to the new normal, especially digital literacy training. We have training. We don't want to waste this time. So we did our upskilling, reskilling program for national licensed tour guided
Yeah.
e-center program domestic tourism vibes. Actually, you see what happened. A lot
Yes.
of our tourist guides, they have been focused on the former those who have been coming to them from the countries they already been very familiar with. So now we are asking them to look into domestic tourism as well. So we have a body that an association of tourism training institutes of Malaysia and the Malaysian Tourist Guides Council. They have implemented this reskilling program for their tour guides to improve their domestic tourism vibes program, because a lot of them, they have been focusing on international tourists. Now they have to focus on domestic tourism, so that you will have more information about your own country, about your own state, about your own area. So this program is an initiative of the ministry that is implemented. FOC, okay, we did it
Okay.
FOC. This is during COVID. It is an effort to help licensed tourist guides who are directly affected by the implementation of the MCO to attend this program, which is a prerequisite for renewing a driving license. Now,
Okay.
so a total of 4,288 participants, consisting of licensed tour guides from across the country, have attended this domestic tourism vibes program. Meanwhile, a total of 14,027 ECTRE course certificates were issued in 2020. This is very important for them so
Okay.
that they can continue on. Anytime when we can open domestic tourism, they can start with their work using their new license.
Hmm.
So, following the response and positive feedback received through the implementation of this program, the ministry once again agreed to continue the domestic tourism vibes 2.0 program through the continuing tourism related education sector. Actually, Dominic, you see, many people, even locals like we all as tourists, we didn't realize that we have the hidden gems there behind our backyard, I mean, behind our own houses. So that's why it is important to share what we have in our own constituency, in our own kampong. We have waterfalls, we have arts and culture the culture of the people from the different races, different ethnic groups that people don't know their tradition, their culture. And
cultural villages. Yeah.
yeah, and the kind of food that you
Yes.
have, even in the kampong, some of the waterfalls have never been explored. So this is another area we are encouraging people to go for ecotourism. So we are encouraging people for ecotourism. Another thing that we're training people is storytelling. Why
Yes.
storytelling is to ensure the quality of the commentary of Malaysia tourism industry, arts and culture by licensed tour guides is always in good standards.
Yes.
So you excuse me first, I need to drink. So MOTAC sees, thank you. MOTAC sees the need to provide additional knowledge and
Okay.
new exposure on more effective methods of commenting on storytelling during the MCO. So we organize eBoot Camp 2021 Klang Valley via online training in July this year until 22nd July with the participation of 5 licensed tourist guides associations in the Klang Valley.
Yes.
So
Yes.
well, there are a lot more that we are doing, okay? Because
Okay.
I need to finish it.
I'll summarize some of the things that you have mentioned.
Yes,
I
thank
heard
you.
that you said like tour agencies had cash and outs, so tour guides had cash and outs. I think there was also a license fee moratorium this year, and as well reskilling, so storytelling, e-boot camps. So I think helping people with licensing this year because they didn't get to go out so much, it
Yeah.
really helped people as well as cash handouts, and as well as reskilling them moving forward after the pandemic. So these are some of the tour initiatives I picked up. So
Yeah,
on
but
that
at
note,
the same time, Dominic, sorry to cut you off. Same time, you see, people are now getting more experts in smart tourism using like
yes,
this webinar, during the
yes,
using the
yes,
handphone. So that's why I said it's a blessing in disguise for us.
yes,
Okay,
we are learning new ways to adapt.
yeah.
So on our next question, related to the national tourism policy, I think a few days ago you might have met up with our Minister of Finance. 3 days ago, Tengku
Oh yeah.
Zafrul. Yeah, so that's talking about the tourism recovery plan, national recovery plan. So this question is regarding the national tourism policy of 2020 to 2030. Are there key specific tourism and art culture initiatives by the ministry underway in the coming year? This must be in conjunction as well with the national recovery plan by the briefing by
Yeah.
the Minister of Finance. Yes.
Well, our National Recovery Plan 2020 to 2030, with this, it focuses on quite a number of strategies, about 6 strategies, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken,
Yeah.
revitalizing domestic tourism. Because
Yes.
before this, people were focused. You see, a lot of people went overseas during the end of the year, but now
Yes.
they're planning to go domestic. So before we have people from foreign countries
Yes.
coming here, we might as well attract our own people, but we must improve our own domestic destination. So revitalizing domestic tourism by offering more creative and attractive travel packages through digital platforms. You have the slide there. Offer incentives and promotions in the form of rebate vouchers, e-vouchers, cashback through e-wallets and discounts. And at the same time promoting uniqueness of rural tourist destinations or hidden gems, as tourists now prefer safer destinations.
Yes.
Fewer people, and I whisper to the Minister of Finance. Well, I whisper, but everybody could hear. I told him, please don't take our funds because we need to use these funds for all this stuff. The ones that I
Yes.
mentioned, we need to help with the discount so that people. This is to stimulate the economy. And then another thing is to restore public confidence to travel. How do we do that? By adapting to the new normal, we have to keep reminding, even if you
Mm.
already have second doses, okay, second vaccination dose, you still have to adapt to the new normal, such as emphasizing on hygiene, cleanliness, and health safety and compliance to SOPs. We must not
Mm.
we must not forget that this is still
Yes.
needed. And thirdly, is embracing the technology of
Oh, come on. Yep.
uh, secure, seamless, and contactless travel, such as cashless payments. So now people use credit card or online payment. online booking, contactless transaction, and contactless check-in. So there is no physical contact. Another one is the reskilling and upskilling, as I mentioned earlier, to improve the capacity and credibility of the profession by adapting to the new normal, especially digital literacy training. But just to just to remind myself, during my time as a minister in Prime Minister's Department, I was in charge of AIM, Agency Inovasi Malaysia.
Yes, social
We have
innovation.
been talking about IR 4.0. I've been talking about internet for IoT, talking about artificial intelligence. I couldn't imagine what it was like until now. When I'm here, then I realized that, and now I'm also applying it. So this is one way. But anyway, there's another strategy: easing regulations to ensure the survivability of the industry. For example, simplifying regulations, waiving of license fees for Top Tap and TG. And finally, not really finally, I have another one, promoting sustainable tourism development by re-strategizing efforts to conserve and preserve the environment, such as considering carrying capacity on islands or fragile destinations. And then number 7, strengthening public-private partnerships, especially in recreating tourism, arts and culture products to be more appealing and innovative, as well as in keeping the number of COVID-19 infections low by complying to the SOPs. And finally,
Ah,
finally, kickstart international travel by developing segmented and sustainable products focused on nature, rural. Well, I don't want to explain so much, but the main thing is what we want to encourage more people. And if we are ready for international tourists, they will come here as high yield tourists. It's not so much of
okay.
the number. We want them to spend. That's why the quality of our infrastructure must
Ah,
be improved. Okay, we must improve the quality of our infrastructure. I know you're rushing, so I see that you
no.
rest.
I am enjoying all the little tidbits of information, trying to
But
digest it. Yes.
we are trying to improve, okay? So that you
Yes.
see, and now recently we have started with Langkawi,
Okay.
COVID-19 free destination program.
Yes.
So this is going to be our first program that we are going to encourage not just the locals, but especially we are going to open to the international tourists.
Yes.
We are going to work together with some international flights. Qatar is already going to Langkawi all this while. So now, once the government announce, then Langkawi will be the first pilot project. That's why we went
Okay.
to Langkawi. We want them to be because they have about 76,400 people who are qualified to be vaccinated, and they have 115,000 111,000 population. So we want them to be vaccinated. Excuse me.
Yes. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching today. Thank you Ungo Azain for tuning in. Thank you Hanis Ismail for tuning in just now. Yes, we were listening
Oh, Hanis is
tonight.
there.
Yes, Hani said hi. Hani is so happy. She tuned in so far for an hour as well. Yes, we were all tuning into YB Nancy talking about some of the initiatives for the National Tourism Plan 2020
Hi,
2030.
Hanis.
Yes, reskilling and as well as upgrading of some of our tourism infrastructure. And as well, I think the last thing was what's weighing on everyone's mind. When can we travel again? A COVID-19 travel bubble. So I was thinking that I think she mentioned Langkawi. So if someone is fully vaccinated there, and we keep our hygiene up, so that would be a travel-free bubble. So starting in locations where everyone's fully vaccinated, so that like pockets of places can start tourism. Yeah, hopefully that is
Oh,
many interesting
you can
opportunities.
do tourism marketing, you know.
Really, I love the country, so it's natural.
Yeah,
No lah.
actually, it's true. We all love the country. We want people to come, enjoy what we have in our country, and
Yes,
also at the same time, we want to also show what we have
yes,
in our country. So that's why
yes.
we
Yep.
our duty is to also encourage more people to
Yes,
be vaccinated. So that's why we are here to also help to vaccinate as many people as possible. We have identified all the destinations that we are going to have to
yes.
to vaccinate.
Yes. Thank you everyone for commenting. Keep your comments coming. We might even leave a question later for YB to answer. Thank you so much for tuning in so far. We have a very interesting session. Personally, okay, this is what I look for when I look for a tourism product. It must be well maintained. There's good food and cafe or stalls. There's very good Wi-Fi. Then, like you mentioned, storytelling. So I want to go somewhere that's like grammatically correct, as well as clear signages, interesting
Yeah,
storytelling.
we should be
There must
improving that. Yeah,
Yes, definitely. And then
we
the
need to
safe
improve
lockers.
that.
Because if I'm backpacking, I go to the place, right? At the entrance, I need to put my bag
Yeah,
before I go inside. And
yeah.
yeah,
People want to feel
product,
safe.
clean toilets.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
definitely. And then the last point is digital aids, making sure that nowadays people have phones, right? They have heritage guides on their phones. Having a contemporary or fresh or interactive experience using technology that will enhance some of our tourism products in Malaysia. So maybe we can upgrade the infrastructure in some ways. This
Yeah.
brings us to my next question. What are MOTAC plans? Because some of us will say COVID-19 is the best time to renovate tourism infrastructure. What are MOTAC's plans to enhance tourism infrastructure or expand cultural assets like museums or theatres, concert halls, cultural villages, national parks, and resorts in the country?
Well, actually, we are already introducing a lot of facilities to ensure that we can improve the infrastructure. So, for
Yes.
tourism infrastructure and
Yes.
assets expansion plan,
Yes.
as you mentioned, mainly depends on the budget allocation, of course, by the EPU. I've been appealing to EPU all the time to make sure that they give us the budget that to improve our access roads to the various areas. So through the coming 12 Malaysia plan, we are pushing very hard for
Okay.
our budget to be well, even if they don't increase, but at least what we have already listed down there. So in terms of cultural and heritage tourism, MOTAC aims to strengthen the preservation of Malaysia's tangible. Tangible is something you can see,
Mm.
like Mulu caves, like all the caves, all the museums, arts and culture. Intangible cultural heritage is more arts, that and
Yes.
then
Yes.
also food, gastronomy as valuable assets for showcasing the country's identity through our national cultural policy, which will be launched soon by the Honorable Prime Minister. We're going to launch our new cultural policy, okay? So look out for that. So moving forward, cultural agencies under MOTAC such as Department of Museums, Malaysia, Istana Budaya is just like Alfred Hall, I think, Albert Hall in London, I think.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it
Istana
looks like Albert
Budaya,
Hall.
National Department of Culture and Arts, and National Art Gallery are
Yes.
embarking on digitalization now through
Okay.
virtual performance and exhibition. So you don't have to go and buy ticket there. So we aim to increase the visitor economy through digitalization and to
Yes.
increase our leverage on big data analytics to support data-driven decision making and future planning. So
Yes.
we are going towards that. Of course, we should have done it before. I mean, I used to mention to my officers we should have had it already. But anyway, it's
Yeah.
never too late. Never
Yes.
too late. Okay. All right.
I like some of these initiatives you mentioned, making sure like Istana Budaya, some of these
Yeah.
museums, they are civic institutions that represent our country. So when I go
Correct.
to London, I see the National Art Gallery, I see a British Library, I see the Victoria Albert Hall or
That's
the
right.
Royal Albert Hall. So they are like they represent the country. So if they're digital and then they're expanded, I personally hope the National Museum in KL becomes bigger because I think there are some exhibits that are not currently shown. I previously
Yeah.
interviewed Muhammad Azam, a curator. So he told me that there are some of the national history exhibits that are not shown yet because
Yeah.
maybe there's a constraint of space. And then also I read in the news there's going to be a new Sarawak museum that's coming up.
Yes.
So all these exciting things I look forward to after COVID-19 goes away. I hope we enhance and make it even more beautiful. Yes.
I'll bring you around. I'll
Thank,
bring you
thank you.
around. Then
Thank you
you
so
can
much.
taste the food there.
Yes,
Yeah.
likewise. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make very good reviews, post it everywhere in the world. So,
Yeah.
moving on this topic. So, there's one negative side towards this tourist infrastructure and cultural assets question we mentioned. For example, there was a bit of public outcry over some of the heritage buildings in Kuala Lumpur. So, this is like the survey office, the old Supreme Court. So I'm going to share a photo right here. Old photo, not the current photo. So it's like some of these buildings, they were left in slightly states of disuse. So the paint was coming out, the domes were slightly coming out as well. So what can we do?
Is that my office?
This is the survey office, I think.
Yeah.
And then
Awesome,
there's
yeah.
one more photo. Let me see. This is the old Supreme Court, both of it next to the River of Life. How can we improve on heritage conservation as well as make national heritage? How do we gazette national heritage sites better? These two issues, yeah.
Well, I agree with you. Actually, this year is the first time ever we have the financial budget was given to Motek actually for about 5 million each to conserve the building of Kakosa and also the Bangunan Sultan Abu Samad.
Yes.
But of course, that's never enough. It is
Yes.
because we need to refurbish, we need to do a lot of things. So heritage buildings and sites have notably historical value.
Yes.
And cultural stories with great potential to contribute to the socio-economic development of the country.
Yes.
So hence strategic collaborations to redevelop and preserve historical places is our way forward. We have
Yes.
to work with some other partners. Government agencies, both federal and state, play important roles in supervising all matters related to conservation and preservation of historic buildings. So for the case of, I remember there was one case, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan, Convent
Yes.
Bukit Nanas.
Bukit
It was a
Nanas,
big issue at
correct.
one time.
Correct.
The National Heritage Department has been trying to gazette it as a
Yes.
heritage site since 2008. I came to know about this when it became an issue recently. So, but due to the school trustees' protest, it could not be completed. So, MOTAC has realized the importance of improving our heritage conservation. Therefore, we plan to launch the National Culture Policy, which is, in short, is called DAKEN, Dasar Kebudayaan Negara. This year, which aims to create a high-value cultural society through implementation of the national culture, tribal culture, heritage, treasures, and cultural excellence, while strengthening unity, national identity, and collective personality of the people. Well, actually, Dominic, this year, last year, and this year, we have been having a lot of plans that we wanted to do. If not for well, good excuse to say this COVID-19, but actually, because tourism, all the activities under tourism are very close to my heart. I think
Yes.
I fit in nicely there, but I just cannot do much because of the COVID. But anyway, this is what we have been planning to do. We are not going to stop there.
Okay.
Some launching will be done very soon in
Okay.
next. Well, August is 2 days away.
Okay. So that's
In
what's the
August,
next launching coming up?
the Daken
Nas-
Dasar Kebudayaan Negara.
Okay,
And,
national culture policy.
Yeah, yes. So
Okay.
there's a lot of things going on that we want to
Yep.
do and want to improve more, especially
Yes.
the heritage buildings.
Yes, yes. Likewise, I also hope that our cultural heritage is preserved. There's a lot of storytelling. There's a lot of cultural attractions. My international friends can come and visit some of the
Yeah,
second-tier
right.
cities, third-tier cities, rural,
Yeah.
urban. Yes. So
Right.
on that note, for final words, YB, do you have a special message to the tourism industry, the domestic Malaysians, and international tourists who might be watching with us this evening?
Well, I can say that we are now in a very trying time. So in these trying times, do not lose hope and remain perseverant in everything we do. Let's play our part in achieving herd immunity together so we can resume our traveling in this new normal. I know it's not an easy thing, it's easy for me to say, but however you feel, I also feel it. I encourage all those involved in the tourism sector to explore how we can recover better through innovation and other steps that advance sustainability and build resilience. So, to my fellow Malaysians, let's come stronger in recovery. Bersatu teguh kita sembuh. So, and to our lovely tourists. Malaysia looks forward to welcoming you again. And also for our local tourists, wherever you are, please show support to our local tourism, and
I
you'll be
agree.
seeing wonders. You'll be seeing wonders in all the rural areas. Actually, I'm looking forward. I'm going to a place called Lusong in Sarawak.
Oh,
Lusong Labu is
wow.
the highest waterfall, but it's
It's
not
a
easy to
waterfall.
reach. So,
Okay.
inshallah, I will be going because I have to go to so many places. But this kind of place is not easy for people to go. So, I'll share with you what it is like later. Okay.
Yes.
So, thank you
Yep.
very much. Yeah.
Thank you. I will take one question from the audience. I think, oh yeah, would you appreciate if you could shed some light on the efforts to improve accessibility of the National Archives?
National
Yes.
Archive.
Yeah, National Archives. Yes, yes. Because
Okay.
what I think the commenter is asking is that I think, for example, master students, they want to log into the National Museum or the National Archives
Yeah.
to do research, right, for their
Yeah.
masters in arts or visual arts.
Yeah.
They
All right.
some of the they're not categorized properly. Some of the artifacts, or some of the newspaper
Yeah.
cuttings, they can't be accessed, or we have to pay money
Yeah.
individually. And then there are a lot of things. So maybe I think, what can we do to maybe improve the way we organize the National Archive, or at least be able to access for students to increase or access it?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, they can
Mm.
contact them through
Yes.
email. But if there's
Okay.
any problem,
Yes.
just email to me. Because sometimes, especially during this time, some people may seem to be very far away, very far away.
Yes.
So, well, I don't mind helping out, because it is, to me, education is very important. So knowledge on all these whatever subject matters that you want to know. So we need to also help out, because knowledge means power to everyone. So
Yes.
let's say you have some kind of challenge for that, just let me know. Okay, you can
Thank you,
email. Yeah.
YB. Thank you so much for being so sporting and reaching out to everyone. Once again, thank you everyone so much for joining us tonight, for supporting your local independent talk show. We deeply appreciate Minister Nancy, who is taking the time off ministerial and parliamentary duties to have grassroots conversations like this one. It means so much to us. Please follow and subscribe to YB Dato Sri, Nancy Shukri, or the Ministry of Tourism, Art and Culture, or Tourism Malaysia, or the Dominique Wong Weekend Show on social media. Have a great evening and a fruitful weekend ahead. Kita sayang kami, YB, Dato, Sri Nancy
Kami sayang kita.
Shukri. Thank you. Have a
Thank you very
lovely
much.
evening. Stay safe and
Well,
stay healthy, everyone.
congratulations, Dominic. I'm now
Thank
seeing you
you.
in a different platform, so congratulations.
Yes, I think forced by the new normal.
It's a
Thank you
blessing in
for your kind
disguise.
words.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much.
Likewise, thank you so much, YB. Look forward to seeing you soon after this pandemic.
Yeah. We'll have laksa.
Yes, can't wait. Take care, everyone. Thank you for tuning
Yeah.
in
Thank
tonight.
you, everyone. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.